To connect your local Claude Desktop application to a corporate Gong database, we have to construct a specific secure pipeline. Connecting these two systems involves building a local architectural bridge to handle the secure exchange of enterprise data. This diagram outlines the structure. MCP requires a localized intermediary server to manage tool execution securely. Docker acts as the execution layer, hosting the MCP server on your local machine. Once active, it securely routes data between your Claude prompt and the remote Gong API. Friction occurs because consumer macOS defaults, including hidden directories, automatic typography replacements, and memory management, interfere with these developer configurations. We have to map out a precise technical pipeline to bypass these operating system guardrails. Integrating an enterprise API via MCP on a Mac requires overriding consumer software limitations to establish a functioning microservice architecture. We begin by establishing the execution layer using Docker Desktop for Mac. Developers must verify their specific chip architecture to download the correct binary. An Apple Silicon M series chip and an older Intel chip require different execution paths. Once installed, the Docker engine must remain active in your top menu bar to host the container. It cannot be closed during operation. Next, we move to the credential layer. The container needs specific keys to authenticate its requests to Gong. Log in to the Gong web application and navigate to the Admin Center, Settings, Ecosystem, and finally, API. Click Get API Key to generate both your access key and your access key secret. Note the strict system prerequisite. You must possess technical admin privileges within the Gong workspace, otherwise this page will be blocked. Keep these credentials secure, as they provide programmatic access to your enterprise data. With the execution engine and the authentication keys prepared, we now configure the connection within the macOS system structure. To bind the environment, we first have to locate the directory where Claude stores its local configuration settings. macOS hides the user library folder by default to protect system files from standard users. You bypass this by using the Go-To Folder command in Finder. Press Command-Shift-G and enter this exact path to the Claude Application Support directory. Inside this folder, locate or manually create a specific file named Claude Desktop config.json. This specific step is where most integrations fail due to macOS's automated text handling. macOS's default text edit app uses a smart quotes feature. It automatically converts developer straight quotes into typographic curly quotes. JSON parsers will reject the file if curly quotes are present, as they do not match the expected character encoding for the configuration. To avoid this interference, use a dedicated raw code editor like VS Code or Cursor. Let's examine the actual JSON payload you need to construct inside that file. This JSON array triggers a Docker run command. The -e flags inject your Gong API credentials into the container as specific environment variables. A perfectly formatted JSON file in the correct directory provides the specific execution instructions the Claude client needs to initialize the Docker container. One final system state must be addressed before activation: the application's termination status. Clicking the red X on a macOS window merely closes the graphical interface. It does not terminate the underlying background process. The Claude Desktop app only reads the configuration file during its initial process bootup, not while idling in the background. You must execute a hard process termination using the Command-Q keyboard shortcut. When you open Claude again from your Applications folder, the app is forced to rebuild its environment state. Managing the macOS process lifecycle ensures the system acknowledges the new MCP architecture we just constructed. Once Claude restarts, the final automated boot sequence occurs in the background. Claude initializes and successfully parses the JSON file. It executes the Docker command and launches the container image. The container utilizes your access keys to establish a secure link with the Gong API. We can verify this backend pipeline from right inside the user interface. Check the text input bar at the bottom of the Claude app. You should see the appearance of a small plug icon. That plug icon confirms the local container successfully bypassed macOS friction, registered its tools, and is ready to securely query your enterprise data.